Welcome to the Grimfrost Podcast. Today's guest is Faravid Svalfors of Ugglas, screenwriter, movie producer, musician, Viking reenactor, and World Heritage Site Manager for Birka and Hovgården. Welcome, Faravid, to the Grimfrost Longhouse. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So let's dive right into the whole talk we're going to have. I wanted to start with asking. I mean, you've been into the Viking Age for a really long time. I mean,
yes.
you're a movie producer, you're an artist, you're a reenactor. Just to name a few things you're dealing with that's connected to the Viking Age.
Yeah.
But how did your interest start? Like, where did your interest in Vikings and the Viking Age start?
Actually, I know the exact day when it started.
Okay.
I don't know if many people can say that, but in my case, I was 9 years old and I was laying with fever, very high fever, in about a week or so. And then I was shown radio theater with Hasse Alfredson, and it was the long ships. In Sweden, there is a book called Röde Orm. It's a great book, one of the best. Yeah, of course you do. And I was listening to this radio theater, and I was just immersed in that world, and culture, and music was excellent also. So beforehand, I was just learning about Viking period in school, as we do in Scandinavia at least, and I was not thrilled at all.
I sort of had the same experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, and because in school you hear that the Vikings plundered, and then they learned how to be civilized, and got to know the Christian God, and it ended. And in the meantime, they was freezing and hungry all the time. So when I was shown another version of that story, it resonated really well with me. And since then, I have been the biggest nerd you can imagine. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as I said, I read Röde Orm, or The Long Ships, about the same age. I think I was a few years older than you when I read it. And I loved it.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite poem of the book? There are a bunch of them.
Yeah, of course. There are so many. Of course,
I know which mine is.
Yeah.
But I'll let you answer first and see if it's the same one.
Yeah. Of course, when Orm and Toki was sitting at the feast of Harald Bluetooth, and Toki, having been away for a long time in the south, just arrived to the north again, and he was presented with this blood sausages, and he cried.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. And also many expressions like, shouldn't we just kill them? In a conversation and such. So, and also in Swedish, at least, the language in the book is excellent.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like poems in every sentence.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I have two favorite phrases.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite phrase is "Ty när Toke var så full att han grät var han en farlig man." For you who don't know Swedish, that means when Toke was so drunk that he cried, he was a dangerous man.
Yes.
I love that one. And the other one is varmt öl åt frusna män och varmt öl åt trötta. That poem.
Yes. That's lovely.
It's about beer. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. And the benefits of the drink.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's those things are just amazing. And I think Frans G. Bengtsson's, as you said, the language, the really excellent humor that goes through the whole book is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I recommend it to all.
What do you think of the Charlie Christensen's
comic
books?
version? Yeah, I read them too, of course. They are great, but I prefer the original novel.
I do too. I think he did a great job, though.
He did.
You know, what do you, not animating? What do you call it?
Drawing
them.
Yeah.
Drawing the story. But obviously, it's going to be different from reading it. But I prefer the book as well.
Yeah. And sometimes you should make a good movie adaptation of it.
So I hope so.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. So, as you said, you became the biggest Viking nerd there is, basically, after that. And your life seems filled with Viking Age or Viking activities. Do you have time for anything else?
I don't need time for anything else.
Yeah.
It's both work and recreation and anything, and also keeping me somewhat fit. So I train with martial arts from what we can imagine the Vikings did and such. So no, I don't think you need anything else.
So there's nothing else that you wish you would have time for that you don't really have time for?
I wish I had more time for each of the projects.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to make movies, more movies, write novels. That's been a dream for a long time, and I want to have more time with my music and my art. But there's always something to do with every minute, and when you have different kinds of projects going on the same time, you can choose what suits the moment. So when I'm sitting at the table, I can draw a tattoo, or I can make a bag or a sheet for a sword or such. And when I'm outside, I listen to the woods and have a spiritual moment instead.
So I mean, so that it seems like this is like such an ingrained part of your life. But what about the Viking Age is so fascinating to you?
That's a big question. I think that I am more fascinated with the period for each day. There are so many exceptional and unique cultural things in that period. From the sagas, of course, always interesting to revisit the sagas and guess how the music may have sounded, and the art, of course. I love the art, and I have a lot of children, and I have the opportunity to teach them about the old religion. Even, of course, I don't make them believe anything, but the sagas, of course. So I can't choose. It's so interesting in every part: the society, the law, the somewhat equality that you can see signs of in the society between men and women and such. I think we can learn a lot about being human when you study the Viking Age. All
right, so moving on a little bit about to your other projects, like let's talk about your movies and the movie production, because all right, let's start here. What's your favorite movie?
I must say the old version of Ronja Rövardotter, Ronja the Robber's Daughter. Of course, it's a children's movie, but it's so good.
It's great.
And if I must choose, if you once again force me to choose, I can say also that Braveheart is one of my all-time favorites, and also Gladiator, of course.
All right.
That's good movies.
So you kind of took the second question there, because historical movies. Now you named two, both great movies, by the way. I love them as well. But what's your favorite Viking movie then?
That's harder for me. I find it hard to find good Viking productions overall. Every production has its own value, but I can't really say that Viking movies has made a great impression on me, at least.
I know which one is my favorite.
Yes?
I think the English title is actually really bad because it's called The Barbarians.
Yeah.
But the title is Korpen flyger.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
The Raven Flies.
Yeah.
In English would be a better translation.
Yes.
But
those are great, of course.
I mean that's to me that's probably one of the best Viking movies ever made.
Yes.
But did you see the Northman movie with Alexander Skarsgård?
Yes, I did, and I liked it in some ways, but not in others. Yeah,
I think they made a good stab at it. Actually, I think it's one of the better new ones.
Yes,
like newer ones that I've seen.
Yeah,
for sure. So yeah, I kind of liked it. But so, what's your thought then on other like Viking productions such as Vikings?
The Vikings, yes,
and The Last Kingdom, for instance.
Yeah, me personally like The Last Kingdom better.
Okay,
but Vikings and The Last Kingdom shows, they are very important. They have made a great deal for the understanding of the Viking Age, the interest of the Viking Age all around the world. And I personally like that in the show, the Vikings, the concept of fighting women was introduced, and I like that. And we have a lot of people all around the world that have found their interest for the Viking Age because of the show. Also with the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we will have another group, and I think that's good. Even though the historical accuracy is not the best, or maybe some of the worst in some cases, but that's no problem, because this history belongs to us all, and you can find your way into the hobby or interest or cosplay, or you name it.
So how important is historical accuracy versus storytelling, I think? I mean, as a movie producer.
Yeah, the storytelling is always paramount.
Yeah.
And without a good story, you have nothing to show.
It's just empty.
Yeah, it's empty. And one of the best stories, actually, I believe it's when we speak about the Viking movies, we have the 13th Warrior.
Yeah.
That's a movie I really like. It's not historical, but I really like the storytelling in that. But for me, as a movie producer, I aim to be very historical accurate also, without leaving the part of the story, but really focus on both the story and the accuracy.
Did you read the book that the movie is based on?
The 13th Warrior, Eaters of the Dead. No, I have not.
The book is actually really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, I liked it a lot, actually. More than the movie. And I saw the movie first.
Okay.
But here's a funny thing about the Eaters of the 13th Warrior, and I actually know this. I'm not going to go into how I know this, but I know that when they made the costumes for the movie, they made two sets of costumes. One where they put a lot of emphasis on the details, like historical accuracy, proper Viking clothing, and one which was more like it could have been a metal band or something. You know? And the actors got to choose which way they wanted to go, and everybody wanted to go with the rock and roll version. Which is kind of sad.
It is.
I think, because I think the movie would have had a different vibe to it, both for us as like those who are watching the movie, but also for the actors portraying these people.
Yeah, I believe so too.
So so in that sense, I guess historical accuracy could have been a good thing. Or
yeah, really. And also that when I make movies, it's always independent productions, which means no money. And we have you can have 10 to 100 persons in the woods or in a Viking recreated place and such. And one of the main things with working like that under those conditions is that you feel the environment. The environment will affect you. The clothing, the costumes, of course, but also the wood, the weather conditions and such. And we row boats and we shoot and we ride and also all such things. And the actors and the team is coming together really nicely because of those conditions. And I think it's important to bring that into the production, that you have felt how it is wearing those clothes and climbing that hill, riding that horse, shooting the bow, rowing, and also.
Yeah, I actually did a little stab at acting myself a couple years ago. Yeah, Northmen, a Viking saga, and oddly enough, even though it was shot in South Africa, and
it is,
and the clothes are not like accurate. I mean, semi-accurate, I would say, at best. Just the fact that you get something that is close enough, at least, puts you in a different mindset. Yeah. You kind of take on the clothes and you become someone else.
Yeah.
So I think you're right in that aspect, that even with a limited budget, if you have the right material, it can still be a really powerful like transition or
I believe so too.
Yeah. So tell us about your movies then. Like you co-wrote The Huntress. I forget it's called The Huntress, and what's the I forget. I had it in my head. But
Rune of the Dead.
Rune of the Dead.
It is a movie about a young huntress, a girl, and she faces the undead because of the sins of her father. You can say, in short.
Okay.
So so it's a movie with supernatural things happening also.
All right, but that movie won the Hollywood International Film Awards.
Yeah, we had a lot of prizes for that movie, and even though many that watches the movie finds the movie on the different streaming sites and such, and pay for view and such, and cinemas also, and Walmart where you can buy it and such. I think they expect another kind of movie, because Viking movie, you have a archer woman on the poster and weapons and such, and it's a drama, it's a suspenseful, scary take, a scary saga for like a Norse spooky saga. It is. Yeah.
So kind of like me in Valhalla Rising then, because I expected something completely different.
Okay, yeah. So you either love it or hate it.
Because you kind of, I didn't know about this movie, but now I looked it up and I kind of have to watch it.
Yeah,
so,
you should. I would love to.
I'm really
hear
curious
what you say.
about it.
Yes.
So, how did you get started with the movie making anyways? Like what got you into that?
I was contacted by a team that was about to film a pilot for a film called Inferior. And I was contacted because they wanted a Viking expert, someone who could find good locations and clothing and such, and learn people how to fight and such. So I was initially just making it look good, by props and anything, and my contacts, of course, with different Viking Age places and teaching the actors to fight and such. But then, as the project went along, they found that they needed someone who could actually use a sword convincingly, and so they asked if I could stand in front of the camera, and yes, I was a little bit nervous. I'm not an actor at all. I said yes, and it went on in that direction. So at the end, I was also producing the movie and such, and we had some differences at the end, so it was not made into a full production. But I found very nice people during that journey. I'm still close friends with and work with in different movie projects.
So when you started like going down this road, what vision did you have? What did you want to bring to the screen, so to speak?
Yeah, I want to show the real Viking Age. That's the whole thing. So I want to have many different kinds of people living in those areas and in that time, presented for and included in a story. So it's not just young men in the stem of the ship. It's also poor people and rich people, all young, and that's my ambition. And of course, women and men on different levels in society. I wanted to show a real life. I want to give a real life Viking experience, and from watching the movies, and an immersive experience. That's my aim, and the stories set in that dramatic period, of course, they are exciting to write and to show. Yeah.
But that must be like a huge challenge. Like, I mean, that sounds like something really big to bite into.
Yeah.
So what are the challenges in like, what challenges do you see doing this?
Some of the challenges, when I was when I spoke with the Hollywood company ITN, which financed The Huntress, the movie we spoke about, they wanted it to be in English, spoken language, English, and also they wanted to have the supernatural horror movie theme. I had actually wrote another story for them, which they liked, but they wanted to make those tweaks. And I think the big challenge is not to make a compelling and interesting story with historically accurate environments and props and costumes. That's not a challenge. The challenge is our conception about the Viking Age. As I said before, the shows, The Vikings and The Lost Kingdom, of course, they have brought a lot of people, a lot of interest, and made a huge difference, actually. But also they show also the actors from the 13th Warrior, who choose the barbaric full plate armor with fur. And that's our conception about the Vikings. The Vikings are barbaric, so to convince people to open their minds and see that we have another story to tell, a very Scandinavian story to tell, that's one of the challenges. But making it when we have the money in the bag, that will not be a problem.
Yeah. So going into like future projects, you have a new project that you just made a pilot for, right?
Yes.
Called Varnagel.
Yes.
And I was gonna ask, because I know what it is, but somehow I can't define it. How do you define a Varnagel?
Yeah, the Varnagel is a very old expression in Sweden, and it means an example to scare you off doing something.
Yeah,
you can say that. And the word itself, it's first var. It's the same as it's close to the English watch and Swedish vör and vad and such. And nagel is nail. The nail you put into something to remember not to do that thing. So the story is the pilot story is about one aging chieftain, and she is telling her son the story of his father who has passed away when he was only a boy, and she tells him that you should not walk in his footsteps. So that's the reason for the name. But I think that that story itself, and the name itself would suit the full series, and I think that we will stick to it for the series. And the aim is to make a spectacular show, very historically accurate and based in historical events. But
is it supposed to be like following like separate episodes, like dipping into different aspects of the Viking Age, or are you going to follow one character through a season? Or
it's more like that. We will follow two main characters. One is a woman living in the outskirts of the Byzantinian, I don't know the English word, Byzantinian Empire. Yeah.
Byzantine, I think.
Byzantine Empire, yeah. And she will meet one of the young warriors from Adelsö in Sweden who works there as a paid bodyguard for one local chieftain. And she will choose to go back with him and is thrusted right into a feud between rivaling clans in the island of Adelsö, close to Birka.
Yeah.
And Adelsö and Birka together is nowadays a World Heritage. Hovgården and Birka.
Yes, we're going to get to that soon.
Yeah, I thought you were.
Yeah, so you have actually one of the most renowned, a very renowned Swedish actress, Susanne Reuter, involved in this.
And I think that's a funny story. Yeah. I spoke with her about this project, and that I had a character, a big character for her, and I have had written in the script the character. Before I had named the character, I was calling the character Reuter, her last name. And I said, I have a Viking show I want to put you in. And she said that Vikings, they are so boring. The Viking Age is so boring. But we spoke a lot, and it was like my journey in the fever and the long ships. So after a while, she was also very interested in this period. And nowadays she sends me like articles she finds about the Viking Age. And she's so, and she's great to work with. And she has been along during this journey. We are in the pitch stage now. After the pilot was made, we speak to people we want to work with, actors and production companies and such. And she's always keen on helping with that, and like an ambassador for the project. So it's really great.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your hope for the future for the project? Like obviously Sweden, Scandinavia, like international? International.
Yeah. And a special thing about this show is we will try to make it with Swedish as the spoken language, and I think the world is ready for it. One of the most successful shows on Netflix is Squid Game in South Korean. So I think people have learned to read the subtitles by now. Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah, we'll see that.
So you spoke a little bit earlier about knowing how to wield a sword. And, because you're also a reenactor. And for people who don't know what that is, can you explain what a Viking Age reenactor is, what you do?
Yeah. We have a group that study the Viking Age and the archaeological evidence, and we work with the very early Viking Age, around the year 800. And reenactor means that you try to recreate an old period often, and you dress up. It's a dress-up game, and you learn, and you teach, and you learn each other, and you camp, and you very much crafting and such. And we, as an association, we often meet people, visitors. We work for museums and such, and tell the audiences about the Viking Age, and they can try different things, different aspects of everyday life in the Viking Age.
So, what part of like the reenactment is it that attracts you so much? What is it that makes you kind of want to do it? Because I guess it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it does, but it all is intertwined. So every as I said before, I do so much Viking related stuff, and it comes so well together. So you learn something there that you can use over there, and it's the same clothing that I work in and such. So, and in movies, of course. So, but for me, reenactment is a way of testing the lifestyle for real, and it doesn't have to be Viking Age, but just to sit by a fire, almost as we sit now. It's very seldom that you meet a person, have a long conversation. Maybe you drink some excellent mead at the same time, and you can craft and such, and you can sleep in a Viking Age tent or under a spruce or in a Viking Age house and row a boat, and you come closer to the main interest of my life, at least.
So what's your favorite part then of the whole thing? Do you have like one aspect of it that's the best?
It's hard to say, but yeah. When we work for the museum, it's Gamla Uppsala Museum, by the way, a lovely place, Vendel and Viking era museum. We have a couple of weekends a year at that place, and we meet audiences all day long. But in the evening, when everyone has left, even though we love to meet audiences, just to be our little group with a fire going on, drinking some mead, and just preparing for the night and having these wonderful conversations. That's the best part of the year.
Yeah. Right, of the year.
Of the year,
right.
Not only the reenactment, but of the year, yes.
So, do you reenact a specific person or a specific profession, or?
Yeah, I'm so interested in the Viking Age warfare. So I have a lot of weapons that I make lectures about. So I try to look like someone who could fight, but I'm not dressed up in armor or such. But when I have the lectures, I put on some things. But I'm a regular free man, not the top class, but in the middle somewhere. So you can have some shiny things.
I mean, we know a lot about Viking weaponry, obviously, from archaeological finds.
Yes.
But what do we really know about their fighting tactics? I mean, I have a friend who's a part of HEMA.
Yes.
And who they do the whole medieval fighting, and there you actually have documents, I think, from Germany,
manuals actually.
Yeah, manuals how to wield a long sword, and the halberds and all that stuff. But that obviously doesn't exist for the Viking Age. We know what weapons they had. So how do you go about this? Is it like
it's harder
trying it out and see what works?
Yeah, trying it out and looking at Viking Age pictures from that time, how they stood and how they had their poses and such, and also study the mechanics of the weapons. You can't have a heavy shield and expect to fight like in the Viking Age, and you can't have a blunt sword and expect it to act like a sharp one, because when you have sharp edges, suddenly the binding of the weapons against each other are very hard. You're just stuck into each other. So it's a lot of small things that you may try in order to get a grip about how it could have been. But you cannot exactly know, of course, how they do it. But we try our best, and there's a lot of very competent people in this society that help each other to learn more and more about how to wield the weapons and use the tactics.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a scene that's growing as well.
Yes,
but what's your view on historical accuracy then within this?
It's the
field?
same. It's the same as in movies and everything. Some people just like to dress up very casual, and some are very nerdy, as I am, and it's a very big difference if you have the mindset that you will base your appearance, your persona, or your presentation from sources. You will learn a lot about the details and the fabrics and the colors and everything. But if you just want to look like a Viking, it's a shortcut. Yeah, it's a really short way, and you will look like a Viking. But the source-based reenactment, that's another thing, and it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the only way.
Yeah, because for I know for a lot of beginners, they like quite often actually face a bit of elitism when it comes to historical accuracy, and some even act as like something like HA polices, like you know.
Yes.
And it's like, should it be policed?
No, of course not. It's the same thing with the Viking show. We have different approaches to this period, this interest, and every interest should, every way of approaching must be accepted, and you can learn from the elite bubble if you want to, but that's not. It's not for you. You can dress up and have fur and even horns on your helmet. But I think that it's a duty for us doing these kinds of source-based reenactment, working for museums, if you give lectures and co-write books and everything, make movies, I think it's somewhat a duty for us to present actual historically correct as far as we can.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah. But we should allow people to have a different kinds of expressions.
And I think also everybody has their entrance into any interest.
Yeah.
And you got to start somewhere. And if you want to have people like be interested in what you're interested in, you know, invite them in, educate them when they're ready for it.
Yes.
But until then, just let them have a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So many people today, though, with the growing popularity of the Viking Age, they have a kind of a romanticized idea of who the Vikings were and what the Viking Age was like. Would you have wanted to live in a Viking Age society? Like, would you have wanted to live like 1,000 years ago rather than now?
If I had the chance, I think I would, actually.
Really?
And that's really crazy of me to say, but especially when I know quite a lot of that. But of course, I think that your life would be shorter, and you needed to protect yourself. Maybe you needed to get food. Maybe you had a bad harvest, and that was a catastrophe for the whole village, or you get cancer, and you die very slowly and in agony. So in that way, it was horrifying, of course. But I think you had appreciation for the life, time to think, time to speak to people, time to perfect your arts, and I think it was a quite good life actually, but a hard one at times.
I totally totally had the same idea. I always thought of that. Thought of it. The answer to this question as, if I was born in that time, I wouldn't know anything else, and I would be able to work with that.
Yeah.
And as you said, the lifespan would be shorter. That's for sure. But with the way the life was, and what you did, and how you interacted with it, it's like you had more time.
I think so.
Like,
more memories, at least.
Yeah.
More. Yeah. And we live close to Ragnarök now, so it's a hard time for us. We have a lot of stress today. We have a lot of conflicts in the world.
Yeah.
We tend to lose faith in the future and such. So it's hard living today. Also, you should not forget that.
No, in a different way.
Yeah, in a different way.
All right, let's say you could time travel then.
Yeah.
And go back and as an observer.
I would pay everything.
All right, so
except my children.
Is there one specific thing that you would like to see or experience?
I would have liked to experience a blot, a ritual, see how they performed it, how they felt about it, how sincere it was. I would not have liked to attend a Viking Age funeral. I would not like that. It was a spectacle. It was a morbid, grotesque ritual with a lot of drinking and sex. I like both of those things, but killing of people, killing of animals, that would be a horrendous experience also for children attending the.
But then again, for the Viking Age people, that would just be normal, and so
in some way,
So I guess for them, it's nothing special.
It's just a Friday.
Yeah, it's just a Friday. All right. So you're also a musician.
Yeah.
And you have a heathen metal project.
Yes, going on.
Yes. Yeah. So as a musician, you have to tell me more about this. What's the name of the project, first of all?
Yes, the name is Heimsendir.
Heimsendir.
The end of the world.
Yeah.
And it's typical for this the day and age we're living. And it's just me and my brother now. We have worked together for, I don't know, 20 years or so, maybe more. But now we have reassembled the band, and we are looking for people joining in. And we make some kind of progressive metal with Nordic tunes, Nordic feeling.
Do you already have material written?
Yeah, we have a lot of material, a lot of old songs, but now we're just making new to get the feeling. So we have a lot of old songs, but in this constellation we have not yet released anything, and we have not toured anything yet.
Have you recorded anything?
Yes, but only for us.
Demo tapes.
Yeah. So I like it very much. So it will be with lyrics in Old Norse language and such.
All right, that sounds cool. So what's your hopes for this? Are you looking for a record deal, or are you taking it slow? Or maybe actually maybe we for now we just want people to hear it when it's done. So maybe we'll release it for free. And good way to start.
Yeah, it is.
So favorite band. And if you don't answer I'm going to come over there and smack you. I'm just kidding.
I'm closer to the axe, I believe. Actually, I think the band I always get back to. I remember your song, down, 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 down.
Pursue the Vikings.
But I like Meshuggah. That's my
great band.
Yeah, I love them.
Great guys.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
All right, so Birka.
Yes.
We have to talk about Birka and Hovgården.
Yes.
because you are the World Heritage manager for Birka and Hovgården.
Yeah, especially for Hovgården.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what does that entail? What does that mean that you're doing for these places?
Yeah, I am the English word. I work for the municipality of Ekerö kommun, and my mission my job is to make good connections with the local people. They are the experts on these sites, of course, and develop the site of Hovgården, and together with the companies and associations, groups there. And so I have made an exhibition for the World Heritage of Birka and Hovgården, and have guided tours. And so it's a lot of meetings, a lot of people groups that you speak to, try to find a way to help them have a better experience visiting the place, and also living at the sites, living close to the sites. What do they need? And by regarding the visitors as the means for development of the site, instead of vice versa, when you say that you can that you should do anything just to have visitors. We see it the opposite way. We work on the site, making it so good it can be, and the visitors help us developing the sites. And it's also good for the environment, because people are more interested. The local people are more interested in these places when you work with it. So it get less damaged, even though the visitors are increasing. And the Birka and Hovgården, I must say, it's a Viking Age World Heritage, and Birka, of course, is a trade hub on an island called Björkö. And
exactly, I was going to ask you, like, for the people who don't know, what can you tell us about Birka and Hovgården? Like,
yes,
can you explain what these places are?
Yeah. On Hovgården, the king lived all during the Viking Age. So different kings, but at the same place, a big long house, King's Hall, and the king ruled the waters in Lake Mälaren and the city of Birka, the trade city of Birka. So it was an early Viking Age king that ordered for the building of the trade city Birka. So on different islands with a narrow strait between them, we have a extremely interesting place in for the Viking Age history.
Yeah, so and you say Birka is a big marketplace.
Yeah.
But like, what else is there? I mean, there's this big garrison, and it's massive.
It's massive, and also not only trading, but also crafting. So they had different materials and different workshops all over Birka, and longhouses also. And the garrison that you spoke of, that probably it was the elite warriors of the king residing there, and a small fort on the mountain there also, the very small mountain also.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting place, and you can see on the lake floor, on the water floor, the bottom of the lake, that you find layers of straw. So and that tells us that they had winter markets on the ice also in that area. So it's very interesting, because if you put straw on the ice, you don't get cold feet, actually. So that's an old custom, yeah. And so on the opposite island of Adelsö, where Hovgården is, you have this big terrace where the longhouse stood close to the water, so everyone could see it. And we have this monumental grave mounds. Yeah. So very, very similar to the ones in Old Uppsala also.
Yeah. So those are the king's mounds, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're called that, and
Yeah.
probably it's kings or queens or both.
But they haven't been excavated.
Exactly.
It's only one.
Yeah,
That's
one
a little
smaller one.
One
Yeah,
smaller one, a little
exactly.
bit further away.
You know your history. yeah, scooping tool. It's
Yeah.
a very nice mound with a lot of interesting findings inside. But the big ones are not excavated. So we can actually not say that they are from the Viking Age. Maybe they are older. Probably older. Maybe they have helmets from the Vendel Age. We don't know. And I like the fact that they are not excavated, because when you walk there, you can feel the energy coming from them.
Yeah, because I think I read somewhere that the names, like what do you call it? The concept the conception is that are three kings there: Björn, Olaf, and Eric.
Yes, that's an old tale. Yeah.
An old tale,
Yeah.
right? But that we don't know.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's just made up, actually.
Yeah.
Also, we have the mound of Björn Ironside on the island next to this
Exactly.
island. Yeah.
It's on Munsö, right?
Yes, on Munsö, yeah. And probably it's not his mound. I think that he existed, but I don't think it's his mound.
Because it's interesting. He's supposedly like the first king of Sweden, and all that. So, I mean, this place, Ugglas, is just right south of Uppsala, really.
Yes, exactly.
And the stream from Uppsala, the Fyrus stream, that runs out really close to this area. And you can imagine in the Viking Age that this would have been a river and not a stream.
Exactly.
And you possibly could have sailed all the way up to Uppsala almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So and obviously the high seat of the kings were in Uppsala. So
yeah, but we have several ones. So the king ambulated between the king's halls.
Yeah, okay,
so we have different king sites. Often they have this king size mounds and the big house, and also some sacred place names in close perimeter from this sites.
Yeah.
So maybe the Uppsala Hall was the main residence for the king. I don't know, but at least Hovgården was one of the most important residences for the king. And also today in Ekerö municipality we have the king living in Drottningholm. It's also in Ekerö Museum.
Yeah.
So we have a unbroken tradition. We have Magnus Ladulås also, medieval
that's right.
king.
Yeah.
It's very
So
interesting.
There are tons of historical remains in Ekerö County.
Yes.
And Birka and Hovgården, as you said, are located there. But like, which is your favorite place to visit, or like, what's your favorite of these?
Ekerö,
or like the area?
The area, yeah. I really like going when all the visitors have left, as the same as I said before. But wandering at Hovgården, the hills, when you go down in the small valley because of the hills, so you can see all around, and you can pretend to be in that time back then. And the same at Birka. In the evening, summer evenings at Birka, it's magical with I don't know, the mistletoe. Yeah, the English word, mistletoe in the trees and the coast, the shoreline on Lake Mälaren. Oh, it's so beautiful. Magic.
It's a beautiful place, and I've been there several times. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's I really recommend everybody to visit there if you have a chance.
Yes.
But there are thousands of burial mounds on Birka, and there are also quite a lot on Ugglas as well.
Yeah.
But
mainly on Birka.
Mainly on Birka.
Very strange.
I think there are. I heard actually the other day just over 3,000 visible, but almost as many that have been.
Yeah, probably
destroyed.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and reused also.
And reused as well. I mean, to build a burial mound even a small one requires a lot of work.
Yes.
And I mean, how do you think it was organized? It must have been like an industry almost.
I think everyone just went together and did it.
Yeah.
And the big mounds, they must have been very much bigger back then also because of the corrosion. Corroding, maybe you say. Yeah, erosion. Yeah, erosion.
Erosion, yeah.
Yeah, so it can be 100 people maybe working on that at the same time. But the mounds and on Birka are quite small in comparison to the big king's mounds, of course.
Of course.
But it's very interesting that they are so many compared to the size of the city or the village, the trade hub Birka, because it says that probably people from all around wanted to get buried on that island. So more people are buried than it should be.
And actually
also,
live there.
Yeah, and also not everyone got a mound. The most common way to treat your dead was burning them. That was the most common way. And that just leaves maybe a urn or a pot in the ground with ashes. So the mound was for some kinds of people only. So I think that in some way people around that area in the Lake Mälare place regarded Birka as a sacred place. I think so, in some way.
But I'm curious because you said before you didn't want to like see like a Viking Age burial. You wouldn't have want to visit that because of all that it entailed. And we were just from the top of our head just doing like a little bit calculating in our heads, like how long Birka existed, the number of graves that were there, and you go like, there must have been like 40 burials a year at least.
Yeah,
like grave mounds, and with all that like work that goes into to these burials, it must have been a huge industry in that. Yeah. And I guess, what's your thought on that? Like,
who did the labor?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. maybe unfrees people, thralls and slaves. Maybe the relatives. Maybe all was supposed to help in this occasion. I don't know. Maybe the whole city just went together. I don't know.
Yeah, 40 times a year. Yeah. We're building a mound.
Yeah, again.
Again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if you've been there, it's amazing to see all these little mounds.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, as you said, like if you calculate that what they would look like when they were done, like when they were new, they would have been bigger. It's an amazing sight to see.
Yeah.
So, what ongoing projects do you have, like at Birka and Hovgården right now?
Yeah, I have a big dream to recreate the King's Hall. So that's the big project. But it's hard times in most of the municipalities and regions now in Sweden, at least. In many places, of course, in the world, regarding money. Yeah, some people have a lot more horrible events going on, of course, but regarding money. So, but the people of Adelsö Island really want this to happen. As far as I know, as far as those I have spoken to, and I'm trying to make it happen actually, and that would be great for the site because then you can walk on the hills, on the mounds, and you can actually see the King's Hall. And that's the main reason for Adelsö to be part of the World Heritage.
Would it be like, I mean, you can't put it where the actual original King's Hall was because now there are medieval ruins on top of it. Yes,
and Viking material underneath.
Yeah.
So, but there is actually a hill close by, it resembles the terrace very closely. So the terrace where the King's Hall was is in the same actual angle towards the Lake Mälaren also. So you can build the house and you can really have the similar feeling for it. And that hill is very close to the archaeological area, but not too close. So it's perfect in many ways.
All right. Yeah, well, I hope you get to do this.
Yes,
because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So what's in the immediate future then for Birka and Hovgården? Like, I think you open the visitor center at Birka in May, if I'm correct.
Yeah, there is a cafe that opens up the 4th of May, I believe, and that's the most important thing about going there, that you have this excellent cafe open with beautiful environments and such. And we have this, the exhibition is open all the year, even on Christmas Eve, if you want to.
Wow.
It's open. So that's not a problem. But the cafe opens now, in the end of April or start of May.
Mm. Yeah, and Christmas Eve is something special. You have the Christmas market and all that stuff going on as well, right?
The local reenactor group have different events during the year, but I want it to be bigger events and joined up events in the future, where we can have these markets. This also when we have the house, the long house, we can have concerts, maybe Amon Amarth, for example, and we can have theater, and we can have it would be really great. And we can have different kinds of exhibitions and lectures and such. So I want to build this place so it's really nice to visit, and that you can always go there and learn and experience something new.
That sounds. I mean, I love Birka, so it's a beautiful place. And I was just curious, like, if you're going to have year-round activities. I mean, you kind of have to get there by boat, right?
Yeah, to Birka at least.
Yeah.
But Hovgården, you can go to by a ferry that opens. It's open all the year. So
because I remember this year going with the boat to Birka was difficult because of the ice.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. But
It's crazy. It's an experience going in that boat in the wintertime.
Yeah. But even summer, I've been on it a couple of times, and it's a beautiful, beautiful journey in the Lake Mälaren, and it's amazing. So, what info can you give to potential visitors, like how to get to Birka? We talked about the boat, but the tours that you have, like what does that entail? What do you have? What does that mean?
Yeah.
To make a tour?
Birka is actually run by Strömma kanalbolaget, and I have a great cooperation with Veronica Björkman, the destination manager for the site.
She's great.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. So we have much together in different ways. So if you go to Birka, they have a great restaurant and a museum, and they have great guided tours in different languages also, and reconstructed part of the city environment, like small houses, not the long house that was common in the land and in that time, but small houses, small workshops, recreated according to what we know about house archaeologically. You know what I was trying to say.
It was correct.
Okay, and also you have a great museum shop, and of course the nature. The you can wander off by yourself, and you can go the tours, but there are the mounds and the beautiful settings in that place. So I hope if you visit Birka, you spend so much time you can. But until the next boat.
But you can spend the night there as well during the summer, right?
Yeah, they have glamping now, and that's great. But living on the Birka and Ugglas island it's hard to get places to stay overnight. But at least they have glamping now, and they are actually maybe they are trying to build a house also. Maybe they can have visitors sleeping over in the future.
All right.
More visitors.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, our old culture, the Viking Age culture, the old Scandinavia, it's kind of carved out its own place in today's popular culture. We talked about that before. And you have invested a lot of it in your professional career, music, movies, and all that. Do you think the interest will prevail, or will it wane with time?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Very good question. But I think that maybe it's the pagan revolution coming. No, but I think that the interest for the Viking Age will prevail. I think so, and it will come new adaptations, new ways of telling the stories, and I think it will. You can agree that the Roman Emperor, the Empire of Rome, will always be of interest to many people, and also the native from America, and we have this and the samurai, and always it will not diminish. I think the interest of the Viking period has always been quite strong, but I think it will only grow stronger as we move forth.
I think that is a great way to end this discussion. Thank you so much, Faravid, for joining us today. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. Same.
Thank you very much.
Same. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that bell button.